What's going on, guys? We hope you're doing well. When it comes to architectural design, everyone loves cool and crazy ideas. Like, who wouldn't want to live in an insane house, which is totally different from any house around them? Trust me, I would. You might think in order to do so, you'd have to be very prosperous, which is true for some of these houses, but of course, not for all of them. So, for this video, we went on to find out some of the weirdest and unusual houses in the world. Be sure to stick around till the end of the video, as you'll truly be surprised to see what's inside the world's weirdest house. Before you watch, click subscribe and press the notification bell icon. You'll join our notification squad and be the first to know of our new content. World's narrowest house. Polish architect Jacob Skrzynski claimed to have built the world's narrowest house, with the house just around 59 inches, that is 152 centimeters, at its widest point. It's certainly hard to argue with him. It's called the Curette House, and as you can see in this picture, it's squeezed between two buildings in the center of Warsaw. The structure contains 2 floors and has 1 bedroom, a kitchen, a bathroom, and a living area. It has 2 non-opening windows, with sunlight also entering through a translucent glass panel that makes up the walls. The interior of the house is painted white, and the building's electricity is obtained from a neighboring building. So you need to pay your neighbors every month, which is kind of weird. But so is this iconic installation. Because of its small size, the building only accommodates a small 2-beverage refrigerator, and occupants use a ladder to travel from level to level. Entry is via restricted stairs that, when closed, become the living room. Even though it's being used as a residence, the house is classified as an art installation because it does not meet Polish building codes. Boeing 727 House. Based outside of Portland, Oregon, the retired Boeing 727 commercial airplane is a fully functioning home with electricity and running water. The owner of the house is Bruce Campbell, an engineer who converted this giant airliner into his personal home. He made this on a wooden suburban lot, which he bought during his early days. As you can see in these pictures, unlike the house, the interiors are no different and are as unusual as they come. Campbell bought the plane for about $100,000 USD back in 1999. With renovations and other expenses, the total project cost is estimated to be around $220,000, which is still a lot cheaper than a tiny condo you could get in downtown New York. Campbell is now planning to transform another plane into a house, but over in Japan. So if you've got the money and the desire to have one of these, contact the man. The Knightsbridge Hidden House. Do you like the concept of an underground house? Well, if you do, you surely need to see this amazing house in Knightsbridge, London. It may look like a regular tiny office from the street, but behind the modest door is an architecturally ambitious home that will have design lovers in raptures. This uncanny house spans over 2,100 square feet and is a redevelopment of 2 former workshops and a retail space. It hides 3 bedrooms and has been designed in a way that none of its fascinating features can be seen from outside, which is also the reason why it's certainly not cheap by any means, with over $2.3 million invested in renovations back in 2016. The Pickle Barrel House. The Pickle Barrel House is a 2-story cabin built to resemble 2 barrels. It was inspired by the Teeny Weenies, a famous cartoon strip that first appeared in 1914 in the Chicago Tribune. The actual design is based on cartoon characters that were 2 inches tall and lived under a rose bush in a pickle barrel. Because of its unusual appearance, the Pickle Barrel House attracted a substantial number of curious visitors, around 200 people a day, which became a disturbance for the owners, who later sold the house to a local businessman. The wooden house stood on its own original location on the shore of Sable Lake for 10 years before it was moved to Grand Marais in 1936 by its new owner. The house served as an ice cream shop, a gift shop, and even an information center for several years before the Grand Marais Historical Society acquired the property in 2003. After a restoration process costing over $100,000, the building was reopened as a museum, dedicated to the original owner's life here in the 1920s and 1930s. This house honestly is one of the most unique, not only for its aesthetic, but also because of its antiquity. Invisible House of Slovenia. Okay, this house will surely confuse you. Casa Invisible is a unique residential building developed by Delegan Mizil to confront the issues in the modern housing market, mainly related to soaring prices and the availability of appealing plots. It consists of a reflective facade, which allows the structure to blend seamlessly with its surroundings, and as it is prefabricated, it can be transported, assembled, and placed almost anywhere. Now, let's talk about the interior of the house, which is separated into 3 modules that can be configured in many ways. In Delegan Mizil's prototypes, a wet cell incorporating the bathroom and kitchen is positioned at one end of the building, with a chimney dividing the main living space from the bedroom and the opposite end. The house is almost entirely built from wood, which makes it relatively cheaper than modern housing plans, as the basic ones start around $120,000. The architect further explained, "The invisibility of the house functions in a double sense, and the mirrored facade lets the beautiful countryside come forth. But the house is also invisible in the sense that it leaves practically no footprint behind." So basically, it's best suited for an introvert like me, and yeah, I'd live there. In addition to its aesthetics, the house practically looks no different from the space at night, with all the reflections coming in. The transparent house. Next on the list is all about showcasing your privacy to the world. Located in the densely populated city of Tokyo, this house practically offers no room for privacy. Every moment, intimate or not, is on display to the world 24/7. If you say you have nothing to hide, try spending a few nights in this see-through house. The transforming apartment. Currently, there are more people on the planet than at any time during the history of the world. This becomes even more challenging in places like Hong Kong, where the population density is around 6,677 people per square kilometer. This basically means you're stuck in your tiny apartment, unless you're filthy rich or creative like this guy, Gary Chang. He has completely transformed his 344 square foot apartment, which he moved into with his parents and 3 younger sisters around 40 years ago, into 24 different rooms. At first glance, the small space appears a fairly average open studio. But with pulls on handles, wall slides across steel tracks, Chang can have a maximum kitchen, a guest bedroom, a library, dining room, laundry room, and even a spa. This guy should be given the title of the Human Transformer. Imagine not remembering where you put your cell phone, and that would cause complete mayhem. The Coda House. Next on the list is the Coda House, a futuristic residence that has been specifically designed, considering the growing population and lack of appealing land spots. The Coda House prototype was first introduced in autumn 2015 at the Tallinn Architecture Biennale. It is a movable prefab mini house with built-in IT that enables the house to learn from and adjust to its surroundings. All you have to do to get this amazing mini house is to give the measurement to the manufacturer, Kodasema, which will deliver you the explicitly designed house according to your liking. More than 100 experts have worked on to create this innovative dwelling, which starts at around 100,000 euros. The final sum, however, also depends on customization, VAT, and the cost of transport. Regarding the efficiency of manufacturing, Ular Mark, the head architect for Kodasema, said this: "We have become much faster in producing the units. Standardization and lean production techniques work wonders. Today, it takes just 6 days to produce one Coda model. So, if you want one, it's yours for the taking." Now it's time for today's best pick. And finally, the house you've been waiting for, which also happens to be the best pick from our side. The Cliff House. The Cliff House by Modscape is an upcoming design for a house that hangs entirely off a cliff face by the ocean. The architects got this insane concept from barnacles and how they cling onto the hull of a ship. The purpose 3-bedroom house would have just a single entrance, and this would be via the carport, situated on the top floor of the property. The owners would get each level of the home via an elevator, and that would come from all sorts of rooms for the owner's convenience. Before making this dream house a reality, the architects will have to take many factors into account, which include concerns over erosion and the structural stability. The house will be made at an angle that means one could never get away from the sight of the ocean, which can be one of the coolest experiences, or the most horrible one, depending on where you land on the fear of the height spectrum. This will surely be the most bizarre house in the world after its completion. Good luck to the owners. Casa Brutale. And the very last one on this list is Casa Brutale, which obviously by its name gives us indications of how it'll be once completed. The architecture is located on Furquel Mountain, outside Beirut at an altitude of 1,969 feet. Casa Brutale initially started as a 1,938 square foot residence and has now expanded to 2,906 square feet, comfortably accommodating up to 6 people. The roof of the house is converted into a swimming pool, and this dwelling contains underground parking for up to 3 cars, as well as a northwest orientation that prevents it from turning into a greenhouse. In very simple terms, Casa Brutale penetrates the landscape and is defined by 3 thick concrete slabs with all the installations performed. The crystalline pool, made of reinforced glass, is set between the walls to smooth the hard materials and let the abundant natural light through, illuminating the residence. The enormous glass facade frames and extracts the beauty of the Iagon, and small details of black-coated steel and brown-red aged wood complete the composition. When searching about the house on the internet, our team found this. Casa Brutale is currently being constructed in Lebanon and is due to be completed in 2018. And we've been hearing that since 2015. But hey, at least they're working on it. With an estimated budget of $2.5 million, it doesn't sound like a bad investment. Nor does it.